Hi YouTube! So today I'm going to be going over to the office and I'm going to be finishing out our Hypo Morph series that we have going on right now. I think we only have 2 left of those that we need to get done, and then I've actually already been designing some new art prints that I'm wanting to get up on the shop for October Halloween. I don't have enough time to go and do that today because I did go ahead and do some errands. You might see I have a little, actually it's a Spider-Man band-aid. It's upside down, but I went to the doctor, got a shot, I went around, did some bank stuff and got lunch and everything, and did some more kind of artwork. So I don't have a lot of time at the office to do stuff, but I do want to go ahead and do something today. So I figured I will go ahead and finish off our hypos, and then our next video that I will do with you guys will be trying to figure out the art prints, because that I feel like is going to take a little bit longer for me to do, because I do need to figure out which setting is going to be the best for printing out the way that I'm wanting them to be printed out. And I've done just a quick test print with my printer over here, but that's a little bit different than how it will actually look on my printer at the office, because that is a lot better printer, and I'm going to be using my cardstock that I have over there instead of plain printer paper, and there's different settings on that printer than over here, so there's just going to be a lot of finer adjustments I need to do for that I don't have time to do today. So that's something that you can be looking forward to in the next video, is that I'm going to be doing a new product. I have 4 designs for art prints, and depending on how getting everything set up for printing goes, maybe we'll be able to do all 4 in a video, at least get a test of all 4 done, but that's gonna be next time. So this time we're gonna be going over to the office and finishing off our Hypo stickers, and while we're there, if I have time, I do need to do a little bit of a restock, so we'll see what we get to today. But without further ado, let us head on over to the office. Alright guys, made it over to the office, and I don't think I'm going to end up having enough time to do my restocking today, but I'm definitely going to print out these 2 new stickers. So I'm going to go ahead and flip you guys around so I can show you our 2 finals of the Hypo series that we're doing today. So I'll go ahead and flip you around. One actually is a Hypo, and then one is considered a ghost. But as I've said in the other 2 videos of doing Hypos, I'm kind of releasing morphs that are similar to Hypos if there's not a Hypo morph necessarily of the reptile, or if there is a similar morph that is more popular to get than a Hypo that is similar enough to release at the same time, because I was wanting to do a morph for each reptile every time I am releasing kind of a new series, I guess you would say, like I've done with the blue-eyed Lucy's. So let me go ahead and flip you guys around and show you our two new Hypo ghost morphs that we're doing today. So the actual hypo of the video is going to be our corn snake, and it still looks similar to a normal corn snake. It's a little bit of a paler body and then a little bit brighter red patterning. I'll show you, as always, a side-by-side comparison of the normal with the new morph. And then our second sticker of the day is going to be this guy, which is our African fat-tailed gecko, and this is a ghost morph of that, which I think ends up looking really cute. I quite like this morph of the African fat tail, which ends up making it be a little bit of kind of a almost like an orange dreamsicle-y creamy color, and then with a more gray muted patterning. And again, I will show you the normal in comparison with this new one, but I really like this morph of the African fat tails. I think it is so cute, and I am hoping that both of these guys end up printing out nicely today for us. I'm quite curious to see how this one's going to print out. I feel like I kind of know how this one's going to print out because it is similar to the normal, and we've done an albino of a corn snake, which is also fairly similar to the hypo, although technically the albino of the corn snake, I'm fairly certain, is actually an Amel, which is very similar, and all of that's explained in the actual video where I did that, but I digress. Here is our two new stickers, and let's go ahead and get started on those. I'm gonna start with this little guy. I already have my Cricut Makerspace already open, and I'm gonna need to go to my reptiles, and I'm going to scroll. You kind of are getting a little bit of a sneak peek at all of the other morphs of some of my reptiles that we have. So if you were paying attention, you might see some new little friends that you'll have to wait for in the future. But let's go ahead and get this one printed out. As you can see, I'm able to get 7 of these guys on a page. So let's go ahead and start with this one and see how it comes out. Okay guys, we are ready for our first look at our hypo corn snakes. So let's go ahead and pan down, and let me move these guys again to be flat, and let us assess how they look. I think that it came out really good. It looks honestly exactly how I expected, which is good. I think that again, it is similar to the normal, similar to the albino, but I feel like it is different enough that it makes sense to have a sticker for it, as hypo morphs are fairly popular for most reptile species. But if we end up looking at them and they end up looking too similar, I'll just have to reassess, you know, if I want to have stickers that look so similar up on the shop or not. But I think that they look different enough that it makes sense. But we'll do a side-by-side comparison at the end, and I'll show you the differences. But I think their color came out really good. I like the highlights on these guys. I don't quite remember how it looks on the normal, so it might look exactly how it looks on these guys. I'm not quite sure, but the highlighting on this corn snake anyway looks really good. So I'm happy with how these guys came out and how their colors look. I will go ahead, let them sit for a couple minutes, and then I will get them laminated, and we will see how they cut out as a sticker. I'm hoping we don't end up running into any issues there, but as usual, you never know. So I'll come back to you guys whenever it is time to see how the Cricut did in its cutting. Our Hypomorphs just finished cutting out, so I actually need to go ahead and release them. And I'm gonna try to film this way. I don't know why, but I'm gonna film this way, so we'll see how that works. But I'm gonna go ahead and pull up this extra paper. Hopefully you guys are seeing good enough. But it looks like all of them seem to have cut out pretty good. Just doing a quick glance over at all of them. I think that they did good. It looks like they're all pretty much centered. So that is great. I'm happy with that. I think that they look good. Yep. Everything seems to have gone good for our new corn snake hypos. So now let us move on to our ghost morph of the African fat-tailed geckos. I'm excited to see what the color looks like whenever we print it out. I'm quite curious. I don't know. I'm hoping that the gray doesn't come out too dark. Well, I mean, I'm hoping none of the colors come out too dark, but I'm kind of curious to see how the gray will come out because we don't really have anything with that kind of light gray color on it in the shop. Our death head moth is kind of the only thing I can think of that has a gray on it. But it's pretty small, and it's little gray pieces. And I'm wondering how the gray is going to come out with the other colors of the gecko. So we'll see. Let me go ahead and get those printed out, and we'll be back with the first look of the African fat-tail gecko, the ghost morph. All right, our ghost geckos just finished printing out, but actually before we go and take our first look, I did want to go ahead and show you guys that actually I whenever I needed to print out some more business cards, I went ahead and did a quick little update of the design for them, which I did go ahead and already show that off on my TikTok and my Instagram. So if you follow me over there, you've already seen them, but I figured I would go ahead and show it off in our video as well. I don't have a comparison business card anymore because I have actually used all of the other ones up, but here is the new back of our business cards. I went ahead and I got rid of our two little leaves that was on either side of like my name, and my name was kind of shifted over to be more central. And I made the LinkTree QR code bigger so that it should be easier to scan on people's phones, although my mom's phone was still having trouble with it, so I'm not quite sure why. My phone was still able to do it just fine, and actually it was doing it faster. I am going to ask my dad because he has a different phone than me and my mom, because he has a Google phone. My mom has a Samsung and I have an iPhone. So I wanted to see if his phone could do this any easier than the last one, because I know that his phone wouldn't do it either last time. But then, ta-da! Here is the front of my business card. If you might recall, it was just a white business card with elf press and my leaves on a little kind of circle splatter of purple. But I went ahead and I filled out the rest of the background with my splattery purple everywhere. So now it looks like this. So here is the back and here is the front. And doing it this way actually makes it to where it's not as noticeable whenever it gets shifted up or down. I believe this one actually might be shifted down a little bit, but you can't really tell because the whole background is filled up. Even though it's not a fully solid color, you still can't quite tell that it's been shifted. So I think that looks a lot better, and I'll continue to tweak these as I continue to sell things, but I think that this is an improvement from our first go at a business card. So I wanted to go ahead and show you guys that. Let me put this up already, up there, and then let us go now to see how our little ghosties over here printed out. So let me go ahead and turn them so that they are drawing flat. And let us take a look. Let's see, how can you see them best? Like this? I think so. I think that looks really good. I actually quite like how the gray came out, because the gray should have a little bit of a brown undertone to it. It still should be kind of on the cool side, maybe a little bit more neutral gray. And I think that it printed out pretty much how I wanted it to. The highlights are very bright on this guy, and I'm wondering if I should mess around with that in the Photoshop file, or if it's good. He looks quite wet with the way that his highlights showcase. Even on the computer, they're quite bright as well. They're basically pure white. So I'm wondering about that. That's something that I can mess around with. I think for now this is fine. Everything else about him though, I think is very cute. I think, yeah, I like how the gray came out. I think that's really nice. I like the color of the outline too. I think it's noticeable enough against the gray. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. I like the little kind of terracotta-y, kind of creamy orange color that the body is on this guy too. It's a little bit darker than on the computer, but I actually prefer that. So yeah, I think I'm happy with that. I just, again, would like to see how it cuts out. I'm hoping that they cut out good. The corn snakes cut out just fine, so we will see whenever we get these guys cut out how they look. But overall, so far, I am happy with our 2 new stickers. So I will come back to you guys momentarily whenever it is time to do the, I guess, sticker grid peel. Peeling the stickers off of the grid. So let us go ahead and jump to that. All right, our ghosts just got finished cutting out. I've already released them from the Cricut, but I have not pulled the sheet off yet to see how well they did cutting. They look like they did good, but let us pull the sheet off and actually take a look. I'm gonna do it this way so it's easier for me to do, since these guys have a little bit more detailed of a shape. Here's our first guy. Let's take a look. I think that one came out good. Ended up having a little bit of stuff get under the laminate close to some. So we'll see if it ends up making it into the sticker on any of them. This one looks relatively good. It might have shifted down a little bit. It's a little hard to tell, so not that bad. This one has a little bit of a white thing on its forehead. I don't know. I think it's all right, but I'd of course prefer that there not be anything on the actual sticker, especially not on the face. Okay, let me throw all that away. This one looks like it did good. He has a little bit of stuff on his toe. I don't even know if you guys can see that. I might be, I don't know. I might be over analyzing, but I just want them all to be high quality for anybody that purchases things from the shop. This one looks like it came out good. I don't see anything under its laminate, and I don't think that it shifted any, but here you go. Here's this little guy. My hand is kind of making him wiggle around. Maybe if I hold him back like this, it's not as noticeable. No, my hand shakes worse. Okay, well, you'll see him whenever I do the side by side without the shakiness of my hand. This guy looks like he cut out pretty good. It's kind of hard to tell. The ridges along his little tail might be a little off, but it's so hard to tell. I think that it's okay. Let's see, we got 3 more guys, 3 more little guys left. This one looks good. This one, oh yeah, it looks like it shifted up a little bit on its tail actually. It has a little spot on it, but I think it's okay. I don't know if you can see, there's a little spot over here in the gray. And then this guy looks like maybe he shifted a little bit to the right, but your left. Shifted this way. But I think that they all are fine to actually sell. I don't think that there's anything major with them that would make me hold any of them back. Don't know why I had so many little specks pop up whenever I was trying to laminate these guys. Guess I need to wipe down my desk again. I feel like I just wiped it down. And I don't know why none of them showed up in the corn snake. Maybe they did and I just didn't notice anything. These ones are lighter colored, so maybe I can see it better. Don't know. But other than that, I think these guys are good. Again, I quite like how the color came out. So yeah, I'm happy with them. I'll clean my desk again and see if that fixes anything the next time that I cut out some stickers. But now I think it is time to do our side-by-side comparisons of our new morphs with the normals, and have that final look at them. And then that will be it for this video, and we'll do the outro. So let us go ahead and get that set up. All right, guys, here we are with our final product of the day, our Hypo corn snake and our ghost African fat-tailed gecko. I am very happy with how these 2 little guys came out, and I want to show you guys how they look with the normals, and then this guy I'm actually going to show you how it looks compared to the albino / Amel version as well, because in my head they look similar, but I want to show you guys the comparison, and I think that they actually look a lot more, there's a lot more differences than I was remembering, which is good. So let's go ahead and start with that guy. Let me move our little ghosty out of the way. So here is our Hypo, and this is actually our, he's got a little thing on him. Hold on, there we go. This is our normal of our corn snake, and you can clearly see the difference between them. This one has more orange in its body color, and its patterning is a lot more of a kind of dark maroon color, whereas the Hypo is a little bit more kind of salmon-y. It's a little more orange tinted than a salmon in the body, but then the pattern is a lot more of a crimson, I suppose you would say, for the patterning on it, instead of the kind of more maroony color of the corn snake. And then this, let me scooch these over, is the albino of our corn snake, which you can see now that it is very different than our Hypo, which is good because let me scoot him over. There we go. Which I was in my head remembering these two to be a lot more similar than this, which I was slightly worried about, but you can see that they're very different. Obviously the albino / ML has the red eye, which is indicative of albinos, so that is one difference. But then also the body is a lot pinker, a lot more towards the red than this one, which is more towards orange. And then the pattern on it is a lot, again, brighter of a red than this guy is in its patterning. So you kind of see there's 3 different shades of red happening in the pattern here. Maroon, crimson, and then this one's a little even more kind of fire engine-y, brighter, a little bit more orangey. Well, I guess orangey. This one is slightly deeper than this one, and this one's even more deep than that one. So this one's kind of like in the middle of these guys, which makes sense. But there is our overview look of the differences in these guys. And I'm really happy with how this one came out, looking at the comparison between all 3 of these. I like it a lot. But let us move on to our African fat tails. So this one is the one that we just did, our ghost morph. And I love him. He is so cute. I love the color on him. And then here is our normal for our African fat tail, which you can see is all just different shades of brown, a very dark, rich brown for the pattern, a lighter brown for the body, which is a little bit more kind of like a mocha color, I would say, and then more of like a beigey color for the belly and white stripe down the back. Whereas our ghost is, of course, that tangerine-y, creamy, terracotta-y kind of color. Terracotta is a little bit darker, but it's like, you know, kind of like a creamy version of that. The belly is a lot brighter than this guy, a little bit more white than beige. And then we have the gray pattern instead of the dark brown. So I quite like how he came out. Of course, I love the normal as well. They're my favorite gecko. They're probably one of my favorite lizards, honestly, in general, too. So I love all of their patterns. Love the color of these guys. Both of them. Both of them are nice. I like them. But this guy's really cool looking. I like the contrast between all three of the colors on him. So that is our comparison of those guys. Again, oops, I keep knocking into you guys. Again, though, here is our ghost, and here is our hypo. So that is going to close out our hypo series for our current reptiles that we have. So I guess now let us go on back to our recording corner and do our outro, and I will tell you guys again what you can expect to see in the next video and what we'll be doing in the future for new stickers. Alright, back in my corner. This is going to be the end of the video. I hope that you guys enjoyed how our Hypo series ended up coming out. I actually probably should do like a showcase of all of them together. I don't think that I did that with the albinos either, but maybe I'll start doing that where I show all of them together whenever we finish off a series. But like I said, that's going to be the end of the video. I am going to actually tomorrow go back over to the office and do the prints. They're going to take a little bit more time to do because I need to try out some different settings to see which one works best for printing out the way that I want them to print out on the cardstock, and get all of the colors and details showing up the way that I want. And I might need to take them back into Photoshop and do some adjustments and tweaks here and there while figuring out the settings. So that video probably will be a little bit longer as well, because I'll try to show each kind of iteration of the prints. If I don't get to all 4 of them in one video, where I've got them all 4 fully adjusted to be the way that I want them to be for printing, I will make sure to do, I'm gonna be doing 2 moths and 2 flowers for my prints for October. So I'll try to make sure to get at least 2 of, you know, either the flower or the moth done in a video instead of doing 1 and 1, because those will kind of be coming out as a little group. But I'll show you guys which ones I've decided to do as prints in the next video. I'm not going to tell you guys that just yet. You'll have to come back and see what they are. But yeah, I think that's it. We, for now, have finished out our hypos until we start on our next reptiles and the morphs for those. We'll continue on the blue-eyed Lucies, and I want to be doing some more prints, but our next video will be us kind of figuring that out together, how to start getting those made. So I'm excited. I think that adding prints to the shop will bring in some more traction, hopefully. I went ahead and actually got rid of my printable planners for the moment, because those haven't gotten any sales, honestly. And I'm still using those designs that I made for them for the bookmarks, which I actually did get one or two sales for the bookmarks, so I feel like keeping those, and also I already have them made, they're physical, so those are staying up, and I do still get to utilize the designs that I made for the planners just on the bookmarks, because I do like the design for them. So I'll see what else I'll end up doing with those. I might make some. I still do think making like post-it notes or physical kind of planners or something would be nice, but that's probably gonna be a lot further in the future. So I'll continue on with just my stickers. I do have the print on demand stuff up, some ornaments and some journals, and then the bookmarks, and starting on prints. I think the prints, I'm hoping anyway, the prints will do good. We'll see. But that's gonna be the end of this video. If you liked it, please feel free to leave a like. If you want to continue on this Etsy shop journey with me, don't forget to subscribe if you want to be notified whenever I upload my next video. Go ahead and click the little bell icon. If you don't, doesn't hurt my feelings. I'm one of those people who don't like to get a lot of notifications, so no worries. Just whenever you come back, there will hopefully be another video for you to see. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section below. It can just be saying hi, sharing your own hobby, or commenting on what you saw in the video. And then, of course, I do have my links down in the description. I have a LinkTree that culminates all of them together, but I also do have my individual links to, of course, my shop, my Instagram, and my TikTok, as well as my business Gmail account is down there for emailing business inquiries, I guess. I don't really know. But if you like packaging videos, I'm doing that on TikTok. And if you like kind of behind the scene things, or like announcements of what the new stickers are going to be, or any kind of announcement like that, or like I said, behind the scenes stuff, more like, I don't know, cutting envelopes or shipping out the packages and just things like that, it is on my Instagram. So if you like those two kinds of contents, make sure that you follow my other two socials as well. But I think that's everything that I need to say at the end of the video. Still getting used to what to say. I watch a lot of YouTube, so I do hear people say it, but it's a little different whenever I end up having to say it. I'm like, did I remember everything? I think I did. If not, I'm sure you guys have seen YouTube before. You know all the YouTube things. So, alright. Bye YouTube. That's gonna be the end.